Today we're on the Tamarack Trail at Twin Lakes in Westmoreland County, PA. This trail is unrecorded on YouTube as far as I can tell, so this is the first video of this trail. So no one's seen it besides the locals. So this sign kind of shows the Veterans Memorials here on the upper lake. Then it also tells you a little bit about the Tamarack Trail, 30-minute walk, about a half-mile loop, pretty flat for the most part. Shows you where the little ravine is there and where the lake is. And then this is the starting sign of the trail. See, there's quite a few downed trees here. Looks pretty neat. It's about 83 degrees out. It's partly cloudy. There was a breeze going, which feels kind of nice. Just filming those trees from the backside here. It's pretty interesting, a lot of downed trees. And there's a piece of bark hanging from these leaves. A lot of down trees back in here. And if we find a good scenic spot or somewhere really interesting, I brought a geocache to place today, but we'll have to see. If we find something really interesting, we'll place it. If not, we'll take it back and we'll place it somewhere else. Looks like there's some signs on this trail where we can learn a little bit about the park and some different things about nature. Just based on what I've seen so far, looks like it's going to be mostly woods here on this trail, but you never know, so we'll see as we go. Got some good pictures of ferns here. This trail actually has some people on it, so that's pretty cool. Not just out here by myself. Looks like there's another sign. All right, and the trail splits here. It goes both right and left. I'm hoping it's a loop. We're gonna go to the left. Don't know why we always go to the left first, but let's do it. And if it looks like it's gonna wander off into nowhere, then we'll turn back around and go right. And we have another split, left and right. I'm thinking we should have went right back there, so we're gonna head back right because I think that's the main trail, the main loop. And if we have time, we'll come back and figure out where those go. Okay, so we're back on the main split here, and we're heading right. Yeah, this is definitely the correct trail. I think those were just some side paths. A bunch of ferns in here. Just the whole ground is covered in ferns. Actually about as far out as I can see. They just keep going way out there. And if you watched the Upper Lake video, you're gonna notice this hill on our left here, this almost like small cliff. This is where the rocks were. A little further down over here to the right is where the hill we climbed up is, and the little cave area down by the lake. So just a lot of trees falling over on this trail. You can see the entire tree trunk there, and the roots are up. A lot of down trees on this trail. Wouldn't want to be out here when it's storming. Lots more ferns. It looks like we're going downhill a bit. Got a old bench here. Looks like the foundation sort of came up out of the ground for the bench. And another sign over here. All right, up here, we got another sign to the left. And all right, so you can see here, this is what a little path would have connected us up higher there. If we would have just stayed on the left trail, it just kind of walks by the cliff. Then there's another path to the right, but I think the actual path is straight ahead over these fallen logs. So another sign. And now we're gonna head under this log and towards the light down here. Always go towards the light. Yeah, we'll go under this log. I think that's our best bet. Not sure what that is. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 leaves. Almost looks like a tiny tree, but the leaves are really big. Now we're starting to get into the more rocky area back in the cliffs. So you can see we're kind of getting to that rocky cliffside that is closer to where we were on the upper lake. And actually, as it turns out, we did take the wrong path because this is the upper lake loop here. And there's the cliff we climbed up. So back into the woods, and we're gonna go to the left at this intersection up here. All right, so we went under the tree last time. This time, we're gonna step over here and gonna go over the tree and onward. All right, so here's the intersection. So the actual trail goes left here, and that's what we're gonna take. Got some more of these red berries that we saw on the lower lake and upper lake. Looks like it gets a little thinner up here. Back to a lot of ferns on the ground. Back there where we just were was mostly brush and pretty dense. So you can see the denseness of the brush back in there where we just were, and as we come around here, you'll see it turns into mostly ferns. It's a pretty nice view. Another patch of ferns. They're just going the whole way out into the woods. Sign number 6. So it looks like we started, most people go right when they start the trail, and they do sign 1 through sign 9 or sign 10, whichever we started at. Looks like we're going backwards. So we started at sign 9, and we're working our way down towards sign 1. There's a trail that leads off over to the left here. I'm not sure if you can see the flags and sign, but it takes you down into the Veterans Memorial for Vietnam down in there. Just based on what I'm seeing so far, it doesn't look like there's gonna be a great spot to put a geocache on this trail. Maybe up at this down tree, we'll see. Here's sign 5. We'll take a look up here at this down tree. Maybe there's somewhere in here we can put our cache. So, looks like a butterfly, but it's kind of a... Oh, there's another one. There they go. There's one right in front of me. Looks more like a moth than a butterfly. Well, it's kind of hard to see how big this is, but this down tree behind me is pretty huge, at least the roots of it. 5 foot tall, maybe almost 6. Pretty big tree. A lot more down trees here to the right. It's a dragonfly back in there on that leaf. It's kind of hard to see. I'll see if I can zoom in the editing. Another down tree here. Two more down trees. Again, just looking to see if there's a place I can put the geocache. A lot of bugs on this plant. Let's see if we can zoom in on one. Looks like a lightning bug there. The sign looks like it got smashed in a little bit by somebody, but it's still here. So, this didn't go quite as deep into the woods as I thought. Still got a ways to go, so we'll see, but just wasn't quite as big of a trail as I thought it would be. Over to the left, through the trees, you can see the pavilion and playground for the upper lake. And then, all right, this is probably the most interesting thing so far, is there's these two, I don't know what you call them. Not sure what to call these, but looks like somebody made these. Might be a good place to hide a geocache in here. Over to the right, looks like there's a little trail that goes off into the woods, but that's just gonna connect us to the trail where we just came from. Probably less than about a 2-minute walk. Now down here, goes down and then back up, so there's like a little valley going on. I assume this is where water runoff occurs. Very much looks like when it rains really heavily, water comes down through there and heads down in here towards the lake, and that's kind of backed up by just how many trees and shrubs are down in this area. So this is pretty cool. See if there's a place to stick the cache here. Nope, not seeing it. The cache I have for this one's pretty big, so maybe we'll come back another day and place a smaller one. And I have some pretty good ideas for a smaller cache around here. Sign number 3. And back there are those two kind of interesting structures we saw. we'll see if this will be a standalone video or if we're gonna combine this with the little Crabtree Trail, which is over on the other side of the park. Another unrecorded trail that has some good geocaches on it, things like that. So we'll see. We might end up combining this with the Crabtree Trail. Sign number 2. This talks about the age of trees and tree rings. All right, and we're approaching sign number 1. So before we get there, maybe we'll get a little more footage of the forest here. All right, and here's sign number 1, which means we're almost out of the trail. So again, this was about it said a 30-minute walk, a half-mile loop, but probably took us about 20 minutes. Flatter than I thought, so that was pretty nice. Excited to be the first ones to have this on YouTube. Okay, so there looks like there's a levitating stick right here. And this stick looks like it's floating in midair is being held up by a cobweb. Not sure if you can see the cobweb that goes with it, but looks like the world's best magic trick. And actually, upon better look, I can see the spider that goes along with this. So, zoom in. I don't know if it's gonna focus on the spider, but you see that blurry dot in the middle of your screen? That is the spider in the cobweb. And then if I back it up a little, there's a stick hanging in what looks like the middle of thin air. And that's it. That's probably our shortest walk yet, but that is the Tamarack Trail at Twin Lakes in Westmoreland, PA.